Hey guys, it's Casey from the Dirty Gym. Today we're gonna talk about some prep and maintenance things that you can do to be better prepared for your squat days, okay? So the areas that we're gonna focus on for this are hips and glutes, our hamstrings, our quads, our calves and our ankle joints, and the thoracic region of our upper back, okay? So these are the main regions that we need to make sure that we have proper mobility through, proper stability through before we actually squat, okay? So the things that you will need for this, we're gonna use the grid ball by Rock Tape. We're gonna use a rumble roller, the light variety, so our light blue one. Our rock ball duo, I particularly like the spiky one. Our voodoo floss by Rock Tape, a regular old barbell, and the rock blade. Okay, let's talk about how we are going to structure our mobility work and our stretching. Okay, so what I really love to do pre-workout is I will warm up. If I am noticing very pinpoint things that are bad in my range of motion, after I warm up, then I will address those issues, okay? And those are very large issues that I'm noticing. After a workout is then when I'll start my static stretching and then my pinpointed work, okay? And all of this is to help your body recover, okay? So this isn't going to replace getting your regular massages. You still will need this. This stuff we're gonna talk about is to help maintain what your massage therapist does, okay? And remember, if we have any large scale things going on, you need to see a doctor or a PT to address those things, okay? Don't think a little bit of stretching is going to solve everything, okay? So we're gonna start with our static stretches and then go into some pinpoint mobility work with a lot of our tools for today, okay? Okay, let's start on our static stretching series. So here I'm not going to give you a time domain for how long we will be in a position. I really want you to listen to your body. Notice how things are loosening up, okay? Don't jam yourself into a position and be like, I'm gonna be here for 2 minutes and just be in the most terrible pain you can be for 2 minutes. I want you to slowly ease into each position and spend as much time as you need in that position. Notice what muscles are loosening up and what ones are being a little more stubborn. And then the ones that are a little more stubborn, then we'll go back in with our more pinpointed mobility tools like our balls and our rollers and our tape, okay? So we're going to go through a series of stretches for our lower body, okay? And Bethany is going to show us our first one. So we're gonna make our body into an L. Okay, so Bethany is going to be in an L position, okay? You'll notice her knee is aligned with her hip and her other leg is straight out. She is going to begin by leaning towards the center of her legs here. So again, don't just jam yourself into this position, ease into it, okay? Spend as much time as you need here, okay? So you'll be feeling this through your adductor and also your hamstring, possibly your hip as well. If you cannot get into this position well, you can use something to sit under your butt, like a pillow, like an ab mat, to prop yourself up to be able to get your leg in the front fully straight while you're doing this. Okay, so we're gonna spend time here. Next, Bethany is going to pivot and come over her front leg. So now we're gonna grab that hamstring. And again, just ease into this position. You're fine if you can't get all the way down to your leg. We are slowly easing in and getting that range of motion, relaxing our muscles. So don't feel bad if you can't just wham down there and touch your face to your knee. It's gonna be a process and we need to do these things repeatedly. We need to do them daily, especially if our mobility is really, really god-awful, okay? So next, Bethany is going to pull her leg in and lean back. So now she is going to be targeting the quad. And remember, ease into it. Feel those muscles loosening up as you're here. Don't just swing yourself back and think that's gonna help, okay? So pay attention to how things are loosening up. We'll do more pinpointed work with those stubborn muscles later. Okay, so pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, so next we're gonna work through our straddle stretch. So you're going to open up as much as you can. Now make sure that you are pointing your toes while you do this, okay? And externally rotating your hip. Now slowly descend, keeping a nice neutral spinal position, okay? We don't wanna be like little slugs slumped over. We aren't trying to be good at that position. We need range of motion while staying neutral. That's what we do in our squat. That's what we do in our deadlift. So why are we going to stretch in a position that we aren't trying to achieve? Now spend time. You might need up to 5 minutes in this position to feel things starting to loosen up, to feel like you can get deeper into that stretch. So don't rush these. Spend time. Like, it's probably going to be about 30 minutes for you to do your stretching and all your pinpoint work, okay? So don't rush this. So next, let's get into our pigeon stretch. So Bethany is going to have her front leg at a 90-degree angle, and she's taking her back leg back just as far as it goes. So if you can get that back leg straight, great. If you can't and need to bend it, that is fine too. But we're gonna start here and bend over the knee. Okay, this is going to be for the hamstring and glute and hip area. Now, over time, we are going to work from the knee towards the center. Okay, so once you feel no more tension at the knee, we're gonna go towards the center. Once we feel no more tension in the center, then we're going to work towards the toe. Okay, so you wanna hit all 3 positions while we're here. Take your time, and then we'll switch legs, okay? So take your time through this. Now for the dreaded couch stretch, okay? So this is going to target our quads, our hip flexors, maybe a little bit up into our psoas as well. So this one, aptly named, you can do on your couch, or if you're in the gym, you just need a hard surface and an ab mat. So Bethany's going to take her knee back up against the hard surface, okay? Keeping nice and neutral, okay? So she's not getting overextended in this position, and she's squeezing her butt, driving her hip forward so she feels the stretch. Now she's pretty flexible, so she's able to stay fully upright and have her other leg up. But if this feels god-awful and like everything's ripping inside of you, feel free to scale it, okay? So you can bring this front leg down, okay? And you can bring your torso down. So gradually work up into that full position. You don't have to start there. Spend time on both legs in this position. We wanna make sure that the ankle is staying aligned with the knee is staying aligned with the hip, and our torso is nice and neutral while we do this. These are the positions that we're trying to gain range of motion in. So we need to stretch in that manner. Okay, so now we're gonna start in on our more pinpointed modalities. So if while you were stretching, you were noticing a lot of tightness still residing in your glutes, and especially like in the medial glute, now we're gonna work through that. So first we're gonna use our rumble roller. This is a medium density rumble roller, so the black will be a little stiffer. So Bethany is going to sit directly onto the rumble roller. Then she is going to take her other leg and prop up against her bottom leg, okay? And she's going to rotate onto one side of her glute. She's gonna do small back and forth and side to side motions, really digging those nubs into her muscles, okay? So again, take your time here. While you're rolling, notice any very high tension spots, okay? So it's going to feel like either a lot of pain or it's going to feel like basically like a sudden jolt and like the roller skips over something. So try to get that little nub into those very high tension points and stay there, okay? Let your muscle form around the roller. So once we feel good here, then we're gonna extend the leg out and rotate towards the side, okay? So she's going to rotate all the way up onto her side and start digging into that medial glute. And again, she's gonna go back and forth, and she's going to go up and down on the roller. Now, these aren't really large movements when we're on the roller. We're not just like zoom, 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 zoom right over the roller. It's really fine, pinpointed movements up and down. And if you find a very high tension point, stay there. It's totally fine to not move on the roller. Let your muscle mold around it. Spend time here. Okay, so now let's delve into the hamstring, okay? And we're gonna start at the top insertion of the glute. So we have our beautiful nubby ball. You'll notice it's a little bit larger than a lacrosse ball, but this is part of the rock ball duo. So it comes with this spiky ball and then also a slightly smaller smooth ball. I really like the spiky ball just because I feel like the nubs provide a little more friction against my skin, and it's going to just really dig in there and get all the points that I need, okay? So Bethany is going to sit her hamstring directly on this ball, okay? And she's gonna use really fine movements to find those tension points, okay? And where there is still a lot going on in there, even after our static stretching. So you'll see she's doing very fine movements side to side and up and down. So you're gonna start at that insertion point and you can work all the way down your hamstring in the same fashion. Okay, next, let's move on to those quads. My favorite implement to roll them out is actually a barbell. I find that after a workout especially, if I'm on the rumble roller upside down, my arms get really, really tired and I don't spend as much time as I should. Plus, the barbell has a little more weight to it. So it's going to produce results very, very quickly. And it's very easily tailorable. So Bethany has the collar of the barbell on her quad right now, and she's going to start at her knee, doing really fine movements. If you feel like you need a little more pressure, you can pull the barbell up and actually use the smaller diameter of the actual bar as well, okay? And that's gonna give you a little more force down. So you're slowly going to work from the knee all the way up your quad. Take your time, just let the barbell weight sink into your leg, okay? Right into those muscles. You can also rotate your toe in and out, okay? To target some of those even smaller, finer muscles that are harder to get to, okay? So spend your time here. This usually hurts quite a lot. So that's where tailoring where the barbell is helps, okay? So if you need a little more weight, scoot it up. If you need to take some weight off, come down to the collar of the barbell. Okay, let's talk about how to use our voodoo floss next, and this is by Rock Tape as well. So I particularly like these around any joint. So you wanna make sure that you're not wrapping on top of the joint, but these are great especially for the knees, if you've been traveling a lot, or if you're just kind of like noticing a little bit of tension in that joint area. So today we're gonna show you how to wrap. And especially if I'm having like any knee kind of like clicking and gumminess issues, I like to do on top of my knee, my quad, and right below my knee. So with our voodoo band, we're going to wrap. And we wanna make sure that when we're wrapping, we're overlapping the band by half of the width, okay? And we're gonna start with about 50% tension on the band. These are very, very stretchy. So we're gonna start wrapping. So you're gonna provide tension, wrap around. Provide tension, wrap around. Tension, wrap around. Tension, wrap around. And then we're gonna tie it off. So now Bethany, she's just going to bend her knee joint, and we're gonna keep this on for a couple minutes. So you can just simply flex and extend your leg, or you can squat while this is on, but watch how tight you wrap, and if you're noticing any like blueness or sudden paleness to your leg, you've probably cut all your blood flow off, and you should probably take it off if you can't feel like the lower part of your leg anymore, okay? So we're gonna take this off, and what you will immediately notice here is an immediate rush of blood to the area. So it's going to feel really, really good because of all of that extra blood flow there. So you can also do this right below the knee on the calf. And another nice thing about the Voodoo Floss is you will notice when that band is wrapped around your leg really, really tight, what exactly is muscularly very, very tight still. And then you can go back in with some of the other implements. So it is a very, very great tool right around joints. Okay, let's move on downstream, and now we're gonna use the rock blade, and we're gonna work on our calves. And we're also going to use the spiky rock ball duo on the meat of our calf, okay? But first, Bethany's going to take her little scraper and work down the front of her shin there. Okay, this is gonna feel really, really good. And especially after you do this, you can test and retest with your squat and see the actual improvements immediately of what you're doing here. Because especially if our calves are really junked up and gross in there, it's going to limit our ankle range of motion. And you'll feel like you can't get into position at the bottom, or like you can't bend your knee. Your knee can't come over your toe if you're trying to achieve a front squat, an overhead squat, or a high bar position in your squat. So this is going to help you out a lot. Okay, let's dig into the meat of our calves now. So we're going to use the rock ball duo, again the spiky one. So we're gonna lie down, find a surface to put our calf on, and then begin rolling in very, very fine motions the meat of our calves. And you can provide more pressure by bridging your hip up so you can dig in. I am personally a fan of anytime I can do mobility work and not have to physically support myself, because that's going to limit how long I'm in that position. But if I'm more comfortable and relaxed, I can be in that position longer. And remember, with all of these, ease into it, okay? So you don't wanna be in so much pain that you're like gritting and digging your teeth and like making everything so tense, okay? That's going to inhibit your muscles releasing and you actually working on those things. So remember, no pain faces. No pain faces while you do any of these, your static stretching or any of your rolling, okay? Okay, let's work on our thoracic region, and this is going to be important for your squat, especially if you're trying to get into that lower bar position, and also to help maintain neutrality of our abs. If we're really gummed up and tight, we're gonna wanna be in extension, okay? So we're gonna use, again, our rock ball duo. I always like the spiky one, but you can also use the smoother, slightly smaller ball. But we're gonna roll exactly through our thoracic region. So we're gonna start between the scapula, roll down, and then across, okay? Now you can do this up against a wall, or you can lay flat on the ground to get a little more pressure as well. So if you are really tight through this region, start on the wall and then go to on the ground, because your body weight is going to provide more pressure down. And I wanted to show you guys like this because once you lay down on the ball, you're not gonna be able to see the ball while Bethany's on it, okay? So I wanna do both sides, right through this region here and across, okay? And you can even also work all the way up to the trap and across, but all through this region because there's not really any stretches that we can do for this region. This is where massage comes into play if you're really, really gummy, or this daily maintenance with your ball, okay? I hope you guys find this information helpful, especially to your squat endeavors. Thank you guys for watching. This is Casey and Bethany from the Dirty Gym.